Welcome to BAYHILLnews.net local news. News was sponsored by.
You can now order your roti skins from Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins at telephone 1784-528-2979 or pick up Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins at Randy's Supermarket. And hi, more products are coming soon from Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins.
In the news.
Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding 3 homicides that occurred over the weekend in Petit Bordel and Caliacqua. In the first incident, on Friday, September 27, 2024, about 10:42 p.m., police responded to a report of a shooting in Petit Bordel. Preliminary investigations revealed that 29-year-old Stamron Stapleton, a laborer of Rose Hall, was approached by an unknown assailant while on the block. The assailant opened fire, causing Stapleton to flee into a nearby compound, where he was shot multiple times. The district medical officer was summoned and pronounced him dead at the scene. In the second incident, on Sunday, September 29, 2024, about 2 a.m., police were alerted to another fatal shooting in Petit Bordel. 37-year-old Othniel Lavia, a farmer of Petit Bordel, was found with multiple gunshot wounds. The district medical officer later pronounced him dead, and permission was granted for the removal of the body. The third homicide occurred in Caliacqua on Monday, September 30, 2024. Police responded to a report of a stabbing involving 2 males. The victim, identified as 34-year-old Elijah Crease, a laborer of Prospect, was transported to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead shortly after his arrival. The suspect is currently in custody assisting the police with their investigation. The Crime Scene Investigation Unit processed the scenes and collected several pieces of exhibits of evidential value. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is investing $2 million to boost cybersecurity, data protection, and privacy as it moves to digitalize and modernize this country's public sector. To this end, the country's ability to mitigate cybersecurity threats and protect one's data online took center stage recently at a cybersecurity knowledge-sharing workshop, hosted by the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project's Implementation Unit and the CART Regional Implementation Unit at the OECS Commission and supported by CARICOM Impacts. The workshop's objective was to work out a plan for the establishment of a Cybersecurity Incident Response Team, CIRT, to provide a digital enabling environment which Project Coordinator Winston George says is critical to ensuring the safe transfer and smooth operation of government services such as the Customs and Excise Department's Vinci Single Window for Trade, SWIFT, and the Inland Revenue Department's new Tax Information Management System, TIMS, among others online. George also outlined that at the regional level there is a subcomponent 1.3 which addresses cybersecurity, data protection, and privacy, as well as the legal and regulatory policy for this aspect. Noting that the workshop fell under subcomponent 1.3 at the OECS Commission's Implementation Unit, George highlighted what is expected under this subcomponent. As the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues the reconstruction process, over 4,000 houses are set to be addressed. These houses comprise Level 1 and 2, which are houses with minimal damage or houses which have lost their roofs, and Level 3 and 4, which are houses severely impacted or completely destroyed. Speaking on radio on Sunday, Minister of Finance Honorable Camilo Gonzalez said with the magnitude of the construction, the challenge is finding a balance between rebuilding quickly and rebuilding with resilience. As we enter this reconstruction phase, it's a very delicate balance between rebuilding quickly and rebuilding most effectively, because a lot of the houses that were damaged, on further inspection, could have been more resiliently built in the first place. It's not that we give them 50 sacks of cement or a sling of cement and 30 sheets of galvanize and a few pieces of lumber, is that we get those houses to be rebuilt in a way that would make them more resilient going forward, Minister Gonzalez stressed. The minister also noted that the government will buttress other aspects of the housing security program whereby they will monitor closely those homeowners who received materials for rebuilding to ensure that they do so and rebuild with resilience. The minister added that over 1,500 houses to be built over the next 24 months. We borrowed money from the Saudi government prior to the storm to build houses, that was 800 houses, And then we have the additional impact of BAYHILL, and so we are going to be embarking on a massive home reconstruction program that had already been planned but now has to be augmented to deal with BAYHILL, Minister Gonzalez explained. Minister of Health Hans St. Clair Jimmy Prince and Medical Officer of Health Dr. Roger Duncan are currently representing St. Vincent and the Grenadines at 2 high-level fora in the United States. The first meeting was the 47th meeting of the CARICOM Council of Human and Social Development, COSOD, and the second is the Pan American Health Organization, PAYHILL's Directing Council's meeting in Washington. The PAYHILL's forum, which convened today, will examine strategies for the elimination of certain diseases, detection and treatment of chronic non-communicable diseases, NCDs, an assessment of the primary healthcare systems in the region as well as the threat of new and emerging diseases and how to respond to them. The COSOD meeting addressed areas such as violence as a public health issue, climate change and health, and migration of health workers. Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonzalez, delivered a compelling argument in his advocacy of small island developing states at the United Nations General Assembly recently. In his speech, Prime Minister Gonzalez reflected on the unique challenges faced by small island developing states, SIDS, in a global context increasingly characterized by indifference toward vulnerable nations, making a firm stand not only for SVG but the entire Caribbean region. Emphasizing St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a proud exemplar of Caribbean civilization, Gonzalez spoke candidly about the inequities faced by SIDS in the international community. He highlighted the persistent struggles of small states against the disproportionate global power dynamics driven by money, ideology, and military dominance. Despite these challenges, Prime Minister Gonzalez reaffirmed the resilience of SIDS, asserting that despite their vulnerabilities, they have a permanent and meaningful place in the world and that their voices will be heard. Prime Minister Gonzalez called for international support, particularly for SIDS, to address social, economic, and environmental vulnerabilities. Gonzalez demanded the creation of small island exceptionalism as a formal category in international law to grant these states the most favorable treatment, recognizing their fragility and contributions to global development. Prime Minister Gonzalez also criticized the global financial architecture for its failure to adequately support vulnerable countries, singling out the World Bank's use of per capita income as a flawed metric that does not reflect the multidimensional vulnerabilities of SIDS. His address turned sharply to the issue of climate change, where he condemned the failure of developed countries to fulfill their promises of limiting global temperature increases and providing adequate financing for climate action. Gonzalez warned that without drastic changes, the global trajectory would lead to disaster, particularly for island and coastal nations on the front lines of climate change. As the Caribbean region continues to bear the brunt of climate change, Prime Minister Gonzalez appealed for reparative measures rather than loans, arguing that countries like St. Vincent and the Grenadines have contributed little to global warming yet suffer disproportionately from its consequences. Addressing a global audience, the Prime Minister reiterated his call for equity, justice, and solidarity, urging developed nations to step up their commitments to both climate action and international cooperation.
This end of our local news. News was sponsored by.
You can now order your roti skins from Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins at telephone 1784-528-2979 or pick up Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins at Randy's Supermarket. And hi, more products are coming soon from Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins.
Audio Jungle.